Hey everybody, this is the fourth here, and in this video I wanted to introduce you to a technique regarding dynamics processing, which is level writing. And what level writing is essentially automating the level of a certain mixer track to achieve a certain desired result in your mix. And in other words, a way that I like to kind of think about it is manual compression. You're basically applying boosts or reductions to the level of a mixer track in exactly the way that you want so that the sound will fit in the mix better. So in this track that I've been working on lately, I have a couple different times that I've used level writing. And overall, this mix is still a work in progress, so I'm not quite happy with it, but it does have a couple good examples of the use of level writing, so I did want to use it as an example of level writing. And so one of the sounds that I used level writing on is this acid sound here. So after this vocal section plays through, and then eventually cuts out here, that acid comes in and it plays completely on its own. So because it plays completely on its own, and also because I kind of wanted it to be aggressive, you can hear if I play the melody through, it's a little bit aggressive sounding. So I wanted to have it sound kind of aggressive, and the melody is a part of that, but also just the volume is a part of that as well. So after the vocal cuts out, I want that to come in fairly loudly. And so I have it set at a pretty good level. It sounds pretty present in the mix. It's pretty strong, powerful, aggressive, and all that. But then after that melody plays through and kind of plays through a short little build-up section, you can hear that it plays when it drops again, but it also plays along with this synth here. And the full drum beat and everything. And during this section, because it is layered with that lead sound, and because the drums come back in, I don't want it to be quite as loud as it was during the break. During the break, I have it pretty loud. But if I were to keep it that loud during the drop, you can hear that it kind of sounds too loud. The low end gets a little bit more muddy, and it really just ends up the whole lead layer with that acid sound and this other lead just plays too loud during this section. And it doesn't really need to be that loud in order to have a good effect. Because I did like the sound of that acid, I did like the movement in the filters and the distortion and everything. And I did like how it sounded when it was layered with this lead. But it just didn't need to be quite as loud as it was during the break. So essentially what I did was, if you watch the level fader for the acid lead, it's right here. when it transfers from that kind of break and build up section to the drop, you'll see that it just slides down a little bit. And just dropping that level a little bit, brings down the overall level of that lead layer. And you can hear that you can still hear the acid pretty well. It still really has a presence in the character of the overall lead, which is exactly what I wanted. And just dropping that level also kind of reduces its presence in the bass. It reduces the whole level of the sound, so it reduces how much bass from that acid is playing with the 808 and everything. So it really kind of helps clean up that low end as well. And so this is the automation clip that I've used to do it. And you can just hear that it sounds more balanced when I reduce that level during the drop. Than it does if I don't reduce that level. So, that's just one example. I wanted the acid sound to be pretty loud at one point in the song. And then at another point in the song, it didn't just sound right with it that loud. So I ended up reducing the level and it sounds a lot better in this other part of the song. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you kind of understand why I wanted the acid to be loud in this section. And then not as loud in this section. And then I achieved it just by automating the level fader. And so this is just one example of when you might use level writing. But there are a ton of different uses for it. If you wanted to, you could just be using it on the piano to kind of reduce any large peaks. And you could get really specific with your level writing. And truly just kind of use it as a manual compressor. You can also use it for side chaining to create a pumping effect. And, a number of different things. I personally don't really use it all that much for, very precise things, like if I were to want to compress this almost as a normal compressor would. And that's just because I'd rather not, take the time to do that. I'd rather just use a compressor. But if you're having trouble with the compressor, you might try this out. It might be a little bit better. Or if you just want a sound to get quieter at a certain point in the song, it's definitely great for that. But really, you can use this for whatever problem you might think that you could solve by using level writing, by automating the level of that sound. So it's a really great thing to know about, even though I personally don't use it all that often. If you want to be really particular about a mix, you probably could use it quite a bit and get really great results with it. But I just wanted to introduce you to the concept of level writing in this video. So hopefully that was helpful. As always, if you want to look up specific techniques for level writing, that's fine. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful.